Hello, Brother Nash. How are you? Please post my story as anonymous. I have come here with my own confession. My story, you'll call me Love More. And this is a warning to each and every man who thinks that once you have done rituals, then you have made it in life. Because after rituals, then you need to think about the sacrifices that you will need to do in order for you to sustain this wealth. I wish that they had told me before I had done these money rituals. I was never going to do money rituals if I had known that these were the tough requirements. I am a man that is aged 45 years old. Before darkness had took me, I was someone that used to go to church. I was an evangelist. I used to preach, but I thought that God was taking too slow in giving me what I wanted. I was a simple man. I had a wife and I had two children, a boy and a girl back home in Zim. I left them in the year 2012. I was lured by the promise of South Africa. When I came here, honestly, I thought that I was going to become rich within 1 month because I heard that they were looking for hard workers. I did not understand that when you are a hard worker, it does not mean that you will get a bigger salary. You can be working hard, but you are not going to get paid the same with someone that is not working as hard as you are. So when I arrived in Johannesburg, that was when I found out that Johannesburg, it is very tough. You can even be used for nothing. You can work from the first of the month to the end of that month, and then that person will refuse to give you your money. I started my journey in Limpopo. I was working for my brother-in-law in his construction company. He was a hard man. He would send large sums of money back to my wife, and it was very terrible. He told me that since I was working for him and I did not have a bank account, I was supposed to be leaving the money in his pockets. So I could not even buy anything for myself. I could not even buy brand new shoes. I was always going around in my work suits because he would send the money to my wife and he would send the money to his wife, and I was just working. I felt like I was now a slave. My heart turned bitter. Instead of being grateful that my children were being fed, I began to resent the woman that I had left behind. In secrecy, I contacted a friend named Sam who was working at a farm in Bloemfontein, and I then went to Bloemfontein. I just left my brother-in-law. I did not even say goodbye. Like a thief in the night, I just left. I did not even send a final sent to my wife. I just cut each and every tie. I blocked their numbers. I wanted to be a new man, a free man. Sam and I, we started to work on that farm. So close to the farm where we were working, there were these other Zimbabweans that were staying at this other compound, and they were also doing some farming, small scale farming, and we also started to do farming until we left the farm where we were working, and we started a small scale successful farming business. For the soil was good and the customers were many, and that is where I met this beautiful Zulu woman. She was beautiful. She was extraordinary. She was yellow. She was a yellow bone. Her skin glowed. When you would look at him, you'll see that this is a beautiful woman. She made me to forget about the woman, the boring wife that I had left back home in Zim. I did not even know that this woman, she had done it several times. She used to date other men, especially that those that were foreigners, towards December, so that she can eat your bonus, and after she would have eaten your bonus, then she will forget about you. But she said that there was something about me that made her to keep coming back for more. So we married, and then I started to give him everything. Whenever I would have money, I would give it to her. She introduced me to a culture. We did not use snuff like what we do when you are contacting your ancestors, like we do in Zim. We were using expensive wines, white rice, chocolates. We would go to the sea in Devon every single month to make sacrifices. I just thought that maybe it was a Zulu culture that she was introducing me to. So after we started to do this, contacting the marine spirits, for about 2 years, I was making a lot of money. Me and my business partner, we ended up splitting up because of the money that I was making, and I was now working with my wife, and I did not need any other business partner apart from my wife. So life was very good. We managed to secure a house through the bank, which was a big house, and I thought that finally I had made it in South Africa, for I was living like a king. But then that was when the house began to fill with the people that I did not even invite. Since I still wanted her to assist me so that I can get my papers right, because since I was married to him, then this meant that I could be legal in South Africa, and I still needed him at all the times. And even though she would bring all of these people into the house, I had no way of complaining and telling her that I did not like it when she would be bringing all of these people into the house. So she started to take advantage of me. Things got so bad, guys, that with the way that she was using these marine spirits, I did not even mind. One day when she told me that a baby daddy had lost his job, and I said, okay, since he has lost his job, what are you saying? That was when she told me that since the baby daddy had lost the job, she wanted the baby daddy to come and stay with us. If you are a normal guy, you are not going to agree for your wife to bring in a man whom she had kids with to stay with you. But I was under the possession of a marine spirit. So whatever that she wanted me to do, I will do it for her, even though I knew that some of these things that she made me to do, it was not okay. So her brothers and their wives, they moved in, and the baby daddy, a grandmother, came as well. The bank account, which had been overflowing, it started to drain because we were many and we were still struggling in business. So every night, my brother-in-laws, they would get drunk and they would always be fighting. And I said that I did not want to stay with her anymore. After I had left the house with nothing, then I was staying in the location. I was thinking about all the wealth that I had built for my Zulu wife. And then I went to a Sangoma. This was after I had left Durban and I had came back to Johannesburg. When I was staying in Johannesburg, then that was when I thought of going to a Sangoma. I just wanted to do a bring back lost lava. When I went to do a bring back lost lava, then this Sangoma, which I met in Randfontein, he helped me to get my ex-wife back. She then called me one day and she told me that she had been dreaming about me, and this meant that the ancestors, they wanted her to come back to me, and I said, you can come. She then left Durban because we could not run the business anymore, so the house was going to be repossessed anyway. When she came to Joburg to Randfontein, where I was staying at a back room, she was shocked because we used to stay in a mansion. That was when she said that she knew of this other Sangoma that she had once met. She was not sure if this Sangoma was still staying in Soweto. After a couple of days, that was when we went to Soweto to meet up with that Sangoma. The Sangoma then told us that if we wanted to have a business again, we were supposed to perform a ritual and we were going to get some short boys. I had heard about short boys before, and I did not want anything to do with short boys because you can't control them. They can give you money, but you'll never be able to control them. When we were still at the shrine, there were things that were being said, some of them that I could not understand. Of course, I can speak isiZulu, but if you are not from that tribe, it's like I am Shona. If I am with my wife, whom I have taught how to speak Shona, there are words that are deep that only a Shona person can understand. That is how they started to communicate. And by then, I did not even know that my wife, she was negotiating on her own side because she did not want to end up sacrificing her own relatives. And all that I was doing was to agree, even though I could not understand some of the things that they were talking about. So I agreed. I was then given a white cloth and I was given a knife. I was then told to write with a red pen on top of that white cloth the names of my children as well as the name of my wife that I had left back home. After I had written their names as well as the other people that they told me to write, including my closest relatives, my friends as well. So what surprised me was that I did not write my wife's name, my Zulu wife's name, including the child that we had together. I did not write it, so I did not understand that. And on her white cloth that she was given, there was no name that was written on it. So I thought that maybe since I was the man of the house, this was the procedure at the shrine, that the man of the house is the one that will write the names of his relatives. I did not even know that my Zulu wife, she had protected her own kids, she had protected herself, including her relatives, and she was waiting for me to sacrifice my own. After I had written, that was when I took the knife that had been given to me and I cut myself a little bit, and blood started to flow out of my hand, and I was told to squeeze the blood, and I was told to make the blood to fall on all of the names, saying that you are my blood, I have called you into this shrine. Then there was a wind that just came out of nowhere, and that white cloth that was in front of me as I was kneeling down, it suddenly disappeared. Where it went to, I really do not even know. So later that day, when we had returned back to Randfontein, I started to sweat quite a lot, and then I saw myself, I was caught up in a vision. That was when I saw the short boys. They were going to steal money at the Reserve Bank, and they brought the money. This was happening in my vision. I accompanied them to the Reserve Bank. I was standing outside and I saw them walking into the bank, and they stole money and they came out with the money. When I woke up, I saw that my wife, she was sitting on the bed and she was counting the money. I was surprised because this money, it was a lot. I asked her where she had gotten this money from, and then that was when she told me that this money, she had gotten it from the short boys. They had brought the money. When she woke up, she saw that on the floor there were two bags that were full of money, and she told me that she had already counted money that was close to 2 million, and yet she had not even opened up the second bag. We started to count together. As we were counting, that was when I heard a voice that said, now that we have given money, we also want something in return because we are thirsty. It is not easy to go and steal money from the bank. We want blood. We want your children. We want blood. And then I started to hear the voices of people that were laughing. When we finally counted the money, it was close to 5.5 million that these short boys had stolen for us in a single day. I am a sinner. I am a sinner. I was cruel to my first wife. I had ignored my children for years, but then that was when I decided to sacrifice them. They were not yet dead. There was something that was still needed to be done. So then I had to return back to Zim. If my wife had not left her current husband, whom she was now staying with, she was not going to die. So me and my wife, we then went to the dealership. We bought a car for cash. Then we returned back and we bought another car as well. So when I bought my own Range Rover, and then I asked her to accompany me to Zim, and she said she was not yet ready to meet my relatives. I did not know that the reason as to why she did not want to go with me to Zim, it was because she had been told that she cannot go with me to Zim until there is someone that would have died in Zim, my child, my wife, or anyone that is related to me, then she could go with me to Zim. So I did not even know that there was a ritual behind the ritual that we had done. That is what will happen when you go to do money rituals with your partner. You can go to do money rituals with your partner, but what you won't know is that your partner can even do a deal with the sangoma without your knowledge so as to protect themselves. Even if you go with your friend, you have the risk of that happening to you. That friend of yours maybe would have already negotiated for a better term, and you will be the one to sacrifice your relatives whilst that person is enjoying their money. So I then drove from Joburg all the way to Zim already. I had bought clothes for my ex-wife in Zim, as well as clothes for my kids and a lot of groceries. I even had a trailer that I had. It was not a big trailer, and it was full of groceries, because these groceries that I had bought here in South Africa, they were supposed to be used on the funeral of any of my relative, my kids, or my friend who was going to die. And I had money that I had kept that I was supposed to give to a lot of people, those that had their names that I had written on that piece of white cloth in Soweto. When I arrived back home, in the villages, news, they travel very fast. And my ex-wife, she was married in that same village. When she heard that her ex-husband had returned back from South Africa and was pushing a Range Rover, she then came with the kids. She came with the kids as if she wanted me to see the kids, but she just wanted to see how much I had made it in life and if it was real that I was pushing a Range Rover. And when she saw me, she was excited. I told her that I wanted to see her late at night. I heard that she even fought with her husband because she wanted to come and see me. She did not know that she was about to get sacrificed. When she came, Brother Nashim, I took her to the shops and I told her that I wanted to sleep with her because I missed her because of the money, and I had lied to her that I had dumped my Zulu wife. She agreed, and then we drove out of the village for many kilometers. Then we went and we booked at a lodge where we slept at the lodge throughout the night. And then I gave her the dress, including the money, and she fell ill when I returned back to South Africa. Then she passed away. Those groceries, they were not yet even opened when she died, and I was not supposed to be there. They ended up using the groceries that I had given to her mother, because I just said half of the trailer, all of the groceries that were in there were supposed to be given to her mother. And she was excited. She thought that maybe we were going to be together again, but she did not know that I was just using her for the rituals. When she passed away, I was not supposed to be there. Surprisingly, when I said that I am going back home for the memorial service, my wife then said that she could accompany me and my Zulu wife. We then went to Zim. When we arrived there late at night, then she told me that she wanted to go to the grave to collect some soil. We went to the grave and then we collected the soil, and then we returned back to South Africa. Right now, we own a construction company, but most of our money, it does not even come from that construction company. The people that work for us, they love us. They say that we are good bosses, because when we do not have any work, the people that work for us, they can be sitting at home, but at the end of the fortnight, we will pay them. Whether you are at work or not, we can pay you. Then when it is time that we have some work to be done, you'll be going to work and you'll be receiving the same salary. So a lot of people that work in our company, they are very happy, but they do not understand that the money that we have, it comes from the short boys. This is my confession. I am probably going to die and be buried here in South Africa. And I was told by that Sangoma that when you die, if you have been given short boys at this shrine, once you die, then you are supposed to be buried here as a foreigner, and then your spirit is going to be taken as well, and you are going to become a short boy, because the short boys that I am using, the other man, he was a South African who did money rituals in the early 1990s. He died and his spirit was woken up by the Sangoma. And then the other one is a Malawian man who used to work in the mines. He also had short boys, but he was using short boys to beat up people at the mine because he did not want anyone to be promoted above him. So when I die, I'm going to become a short boy being sent to steal money, like I am doing, sending these short boys to go and steal money for me. I regret. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us speak with our brother in the comment section. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Short boys. What do you know about short boys? You can tell us in the comment section. I'll be back with another episode.